Guys, please drop your name. I give you a shout out. Let's go, guys. Please drop your names. Drop your names. I give you a shout out. Please don't forget to like and sub. Give you a okay. Drop your names on the comment section, guys. Yeah, please let's go like and sub. Thank you. Hi, Lucy. Hi, guys. Please let's go like and sub. Thank you so much. Drop your names on the comment section. I'll give you a shout out. Okay. Let's do it back to back, back to back, back to back. Let's go. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much, lovelies. A big shout out to Lucy. A big shout out to Adaline. Let's go, guys. Please like and sub. Yeah, I love you too. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please let's go like and subscribe. Ooh. Thank you so much. Hi, big shout out to it. I liked. Thank you for liking. Do you do your best, girl? Thank you so much. Thank you. Please let's go like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you for the beautiful, beautiful and lovely comments. I'm really, really grateful. I'm doing my best. Thank you so much. Guys, let's come in, drop your names. Okay, and I'll give you a shout. A big shout out to Alexine. Oh, you're so pretty. Thank you so much. Hi, Joanne. A big shout out to you, Joanne. Hi. Guys, subscribe. Yeah, drop your name. A big shout out to Now. A big shout out to Alicia. A big shout out to Gabby. A big shout out to Millie. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Alicia. A big shout out to Aviana. A big shout out to Olivia. A big shout out to Ella. A big shout out to Alicia. A big shout out to Onta. Guys, please drop your names. I'll give you a shout out. A big shout out to Riva. I love you too, Nasi. A big shout out to Brio. A big shout out to Cambry. Shout out to Avihana. Oh my god, this is so good. Thank you so much. A big shout out to oh god, Chloe, I beg your pardon. A big shout out to Love Gorilla. Is there any Monk Claire? No, no, we don't have that around. A big shout out to Kenzie. A big shout out to Roman. A big shout out to Lily. A big shout out to Faith. A big shout out to Tammy. A big shout out to Rigo Vorham. Guys, let's drop your name and subscribe. A big shout out to Taheli. Please. A big shout out to Hela. A big shout out to Val. I think you are singing. I think you are singing so good. Thank you. A big shout out to Tony. A big shout out to Johnny. A big shout out to Emily. I like you, Kiki. I like you too. Hella. A big shout out to Cousin. A big shout out to God's Will. A big shout out to Kaylee. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Mystery. Shout out to Susie. A big shout out to Jimmy. I'm doing great, thank you. A big shout out to Leiko. Big shout out to Zoe. Big shout out to Xander. Shout out to Amelia. Shout out to Elizabeth. Shout out to Logan. Shout out to Gifty. Shout out to Jory. Thank you so much. I love you too. Shout out to Lisa. Shout out to Gifty. Shout out to Dorothy. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Claire. A big shout out to Kenya. Shout out to Lily. Thank you so much. Shout out to Claire. Shout out to Fatty girl. Shout out to Anna. Shout out to Eva. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Prince. Shout out to Kennedy. Shout out to Indigo. Shout out to Donia. Guys, let's like and sub. Let's go like and sub. A big shout out to Maddie. A big shout out to Jeremiah. I subbed. Thank you so much, Danny. A big shout out to Emily. Guys, please let's go like again. If you have not liked, please let's like. Thank you so much. Let's like and sub. A big shout out to Peyton. Shout out to Veronica. Shout out to Donia. Shout out to Sissy. Shout out to Peyton. Shout out to Hardy. Shout out to Rosita. Shout out to Felicity. Shout out to Roti. Shout out to Hardy. A big shout out to Danny. Shout out to Felicity. Shout out to Madison. Guys, let's go like and sub. Thank you. Shout out to Richard. Shout out to Felicity. Shout out to Emony. A big shout out to Erica. Shout out to Taylor. Shout out to Felicity. Yeah, guys, let's go like and sub quick. Can we take the like to 20? A big shout out to Taylor. Big shout out to Mitchell. Shout out to Anessa. Shout out to Maddie. Shout out to Susie. Shout out to Ania. Shout out to Faith. Guys, let's go like and subscribe. Can we sub? Thank you. Thank you, Faith. A big shout out to Rose. A big shout out to Oliviana. Big shout out to Gregory. I love you too. Thank you. A big shout out to Rocky. A big shout out to Charlie. big shout out to Finkam Yacht. You are the best. Thank you so much, Faith. You are the best too. A big shout out to Carter. Shout out to Ali. Shout out to Kahira. Shout out to Jenny. Shout out to Daniel. Shout out to Aline. Shout out to Anna. Amna. I love you too, the moon and back. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Finca, my hush. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Amia. A big shout out to Charlie. Shout out to Lady. Shout out to Mika. Shout out to Jasmine. Guys, let's go like and sub. Thank you so much. Shout out to Justin. Shout out to Hima. Shout out to Daniela. You're welcome. Shout out to Rayleigh. Shout out to Forget Wheat. Shout out to Paige. Your singing is like a fever dream. I don't know what that means, so I just feel it is a compliment, but thank you. A big shout out to Kanko. A big shout out to Kahira. Let's go, guys. Please, let's like and sub. Pride, Eka. A big shout out to Miranda. A big shout out to James. A big shout out to Kobe. A big shout out to Howby. Shout out to Asa. Thank you so much. Shout out to Emilia. Shout out to Nathan. Shout out to James. My name. Shout out to Noah. Shout out to James. Guys, drop your name. Drop your name. I give you a shout out. Shout out. Hi, Molester. Hope you're good. A big shout out to Kelly. Shout out to Nata. Shout out to Hassan. Shout out to Celine. A big shout out to Olivia. Thank you for liking my singing. Molester, big shout out to you. Shout out to Rena. Shout out to Kennedy. A big shout out to Mimi. Thank you. Shout out to Esther. Shout out to Hama. Shout out to Emily. Please, can we take the likes to 25? Can we take like to 25? A big shout out to Siham. Big shout out to Sarah. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Autumn. Big shout out to James. A big shout out to Emily. Please, we shouldn't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Haley. Pride. Don't off. A big shout out to Lucas. Big shout out to Safira. Big shout out to Rahi. Thank you. Big shout out to Rose. Shout out to Ra. Shout out to Shabby. Shout out to Jackson. Shout out to Haley. Shout out to Alison. Guys, please let's go like and sub. Thank you so much. Shout out to Mabel. Shout out to Alonis. A big shout out to Ligma. Big shout out to K Money. Shout out to Mariel. Shout out to Isabella. Shout out to Brinley. Shout out to London. Shout out to Alania. Shout out to Wasoi. Shout out to Amare. Shout out to Mabel. Shout out to Salome. Shout out to Ashanti. Shout out to Devi. Shout out to Ruby. Shout out to Grace. Shout out to Darlene. Shout out to Donna. Big shout out to Marcy. A big shout out to Arlette. A big shout out to Hopper. Shout out to Jakira. Shout out to Kali. Shout out to Star. Shout out to Very2. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Evie. Thank you so much. Please let's go like and sub. Thank you. Can we take the likes to 30? Let's do it, guys, together. Can we take the likes to 30 and subscribe? Thank you. Thank you for subbing. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Mia. Shout out to Chelsea. Shout out to Ash. Shout out to Mimi. Shout out to Yuzra. You're welcome. Shout out to Ram. Shout out to Olivia. Shout out to Marys. Shout out to Tiana. I will be with you to the end of time. A big shout out to Very2. A big shout out to Ania. Big shout out to Maya. Big shout out to Louise. Thank you for subscribing. You are amazing. A big shout out to London. Big shout out to Raylene. Big shout out to Darcy. Big shout out to Rayleigh. Big shout out to Lahila. Big shout out to Hela. Thank you so much. Big shout out to Skylar. Shout out to Sukwan. Shout out to Lime. Shout out to Tehagan. Guys, please, can we take the like to 30? I need 2 amazing persons to take the likes. to 30 and to subscribe. Oh, thank you, Lime, for subbing. You're amazing. Thank you. A big shout out to Khadija. Guys, please let's go like and sub for 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds, I'll be back. I just want to take a cup of water. Yeah, just for 10 seconds, I'll be back. Please don't leave. The water is just right there. Please don't leave. 10 seconds, I'll be back. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm back. I didn't go, I just get water. Thank you for staying, guys. A big shout out to Edith. A big shout out to Marjolie. A big shout out to Rebecca. A big shout out to Sis. A big shout out to Veronica. Shout out to Hella. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Florence. A big shout out to Cecilia. Big shout out to Nan. Big shout out to Edith. A big shout out to Brooklyn. Oh, so sorry. May so rest in peace. Guys, let's go like and sub. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Jasmine. A big shout out to Annalise. A big shout out to Nicoletta. Big shout out to Elizabeth. Big shout out to Henry. Big shout out to Samaj. Shout out to Lania. Shout out to Coriel. Shout out to Aaron. You're wonderful too, Randy. Thank you so much, guys. You all are good. A big shout out to Mio. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Mary Angel. Shout out to Lily. Oh, you pronounced my name wrong. Oh, apologies there. Big shout out to Rayleigh. Shout out to Gabby. Shout out to Noah. I'm so sorry, Edith. Edith. A big shout out to Aaron. A big shout out to Sarah. A big shout out to Jennifer. A big shout out to Aubrey. A big shout out to Eden. Shout out to Ari. Guys, please let's go like and subscribe. Thank you so very much. A big shout out to Jackson. A big shout out to Camila. A big shout out to Vakari. A big shout out to Tahim. A big shout out to Shelly. Thank you so much. Thank you. A big shout out to Aliana. A big shout out to Lena. A big shout out to BJ. Big shout out to Aris. Oh, thank you, Edith. A big shout out to Eliana. Big shout out to Lucy. Guys, please let's go like and sub. Can we take the like to 50, darlings? And also subscribe. A big shout out to Cara. A big shout out to Carla. A big shout out to Luna and Lady. A big shout out to Henos. A big shout out to Braylee. Big shout out to Ayot. Oh, thank you so much. You guys, thank you. You guys are amazing. You are the best, guys. You are. Truly. A big shout out to Tattoo. A big shout out to Liana. A big shout out to Matthias. A big shout out to Ayat. A big shout out to Briley. You are gorgeous. Thank you so much. My super, super, super heroes. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Naomi. A big shout out to Poppy. Big shout out to Samuel. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are amazing. Ah, a big shout out to Lahina. You all have pretty names, honestly. All these names I'm seeing here, they are all gorgeous, you know, pretty names. I love them. A big shout out to Delila. Shout out to Lila. Oh, sorry, Jamis. Why are you bleeding? A big shout out to Finn. Shout out to Toyo. A big shout out to Leo. Big shout out to Finn. Big shout out to big shout out to Stitch. Shout out to Rose. Shout out to Alana. Shout out to Tilda. Yes, I am. Shout out to Camelia. Yes, I'm Nigeria. Shout out to Maria Gracia. You're a new subscriber. Thank you so much, Maria. Shout out to Juliet. Shout out to Hidi. Shout out to Hizzy. Shout out to Mera. Shout out to Lamio. Shout out to Brace. Shout out to Lucy. Shout out to Savannah. Shout out to Kayla. Guys, please let's go like. Can we take the like to 60? Shout out to Mera. Shout out to Eliana. Shout out to Carly. Shout out to Jaden. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Lee. Shout out to Mali. Shout out to Skylar. Shout out to Jaden. Shout out to Jamira. Shout out to Justin. Shout out to Sailor. Shout out to Madison. Shout out to Jessie. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to Lizzie. Shout out to Aurora. Shout out to Jackson. Shout out to Jamie. Shout out to Carly. Shout out to Prishi. Shout out to Avery. Shout out to CJ. Shout out to Rebecca. Shout out to Prissy. Shout out to Janiwa. Shout out to Hisha. Shout out to Lindy. Shout out to Rebecca. Guys, please, let's go like and sub, please. Guys, please, can we like and subscribe? Thank you so very much. A big shout out to Jasper. Shout out to Maxwell. Shout out to Zabe. Shout out to Zaria. Shout out to Casey. Just want to put on my bonnet. Shout out to James. Shout out to Kayla. Shout out to Define. Shout out to Kari. Shout out to Mingo. Shout out to Myvin. Shout out to Romani. Shout out to Jade. A big shout out to Daphne. A big shout out to Valeria. A big shout out to Eda Fred. Idea. A big shout out to Lani. A big shout out to John. Big shout out to Suli. A big shout out to Lani. Big shout out to Inetabdom. Shout out to Ben. Shout out to Victoria. Shout out to Maria. Shout out to Georgia. Shout out to Inetadom. Yes, I'm happy you came. Clock it, girl. Shout out to Zainab. Thanks for your support. Yeah, I'm happy you came. A big shout out to Nodi. Big shout out to Spoon. Big shout out to Kelly. Big shout out to Georgia. Big shout out to Celestine.